Hello, everyone. This is Rockies Week in Baseball on the Tribe Fan 879 YouTube channel, where in this episode we'll be covering 2 out of 3 offline games against the New York Mets, 1 out of 2 offline games against the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, and the first 3 games of a 4-game series against the Milwaukee Brewers. And we'll go ahead and get started with Game 1 of the Rockies against the Mets. This would be German Marquez against Zach Wheeler. And the Mets actually are the ones that draw first blood. Brandon Nimmo with a leadoff triple. And then as Drupal Cabrera with a sacrifice fly puts the Mets up 1-0. The Rockies would come storming back in the top half of the third. Leadoff single by Charlie Blackmon moves to second on a moves to second on a Gerardo Parra single after a Nolan Arenado pop-out, Carlos Gonzalez walks to load the bases, and then Trevor Story with an RBI single reloads the bases. And after Ian Desmond scores a run with a RBI ground out, Daniel Castro with a RBI single. That scores Gonzalez for the third run of the inning. And then the coup de grace is when the Mets walk in a run, and German Marquez was the recipient of the RBI. 4-1 Rockies. And they would add on in the 6th inning. This is with Seth Lugo pitching. Marquez with a single, and then Charlie Blackmon takes Lugo deep, and it's 6-1, and Marquez is moving right along until we get to the bottom half of the 7th. He strikes out the first 2 batters, Jay Bruce and Todd Frazier, however walks to Michael Conforto and Jose Lobaton, and then a single by the pinch hitter Juan Lagares. That load the bases, and then Ahmed Rosario with an RBI double clears the bases. That would be 6-4. Brian Shaw came in, and he added a little bit of fuel to the fire, but would eventually get out of it. Single by Brandon Nimmo makes it 6-5. And then after a walk to Cabrera, he would get Yoenis Cespedes to fly out to end the inning. And then we go to the top half of the 8th. This is Jerry Blevins pitching. And Charlie Blackmon, have yourself a day. Second home run of the day, finishing off a 4-for-5 day with 2 singles and 2 homers. Puts the Rockies up 7-5. Wade Davis would pitch a scoreless 9th. He gets the save. Marquez had himself a whale of a game. He went 6 2/3, gave up 5 hits, 5 runs. He walked 2 and struck out 12. All right, we go to the next game, which was Chad Bettis against Steven Matz. And this is a very close game, actually. The Rockies would get on the board first after a leadoff triple by Charlie Blackmon. Nolan Arenado takes Matz deep, and it's 2-0. And then Trevor Story says, anything you can do, I can do better. And he hits a solo. He follows with a back-to-back home run. And it's 3-0 before the Mets fans can get in their seats. However, by the 5th inning, the Mets would make their comeback. It's a 1-out double by Rosario. A wild pitch moves him to third. And then a single by Nimmo scores Rosario. An error by Arenado puts runners on first and second. And then a single by Drupal Cabrera loads the bases. And then Jay Bruce brought out the rye bread and the mustard because it was grand salami time. That would put the Mets ahead 5-3, and it wouldn't end there because a walk the Frazier and then Adrian Gonzalez with an RBI triple off of Harrison Musgrave, and that put the Mets ahead 6-3. They would add another run in the sixth inning. Rosario leadoff double. He had himself a whale of a game. His second double of the game. He was 3 for 4 with 2 doubles and a triple. Then a pass ball moved him to third. And then Yoenis Cespedes with a sacrifice fly puts the Mets ahead 7-3. And you'd have thought that would have been good. But as we heard in 2019, meet the mess. Step right up and meet the mess. That is the Mets bullpen. Robert Gesellman was first up. Noel Cuevas leadoff single. Pat Valaika with a single, putting runners on the corners. And then Bud Black went to his bench. He called on David Dahl, and it came up good. 3-run homer. That puts the Rockies within 7-6. However, the Mets would add another run in the bottom of the seventh. This is Adam Ottavino. 1-out walk to Todd Frazier. 2-out single by Thomas Nido, the catcher. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing that right. Puts runners on first and second. And then Lagares pinch hitting again in the bottom of the... Actually, it's bottom of the seventh. He hits a double that scores Frazier, and that puts the Mets ahead 8-6. However, that would not last very long. Jerry Blevins, the victim again. Leadoff single by Arenado. 2 batters later, this time it's Chris Iannetta going deep and over the wall. 8-8 is your score. We go to the bottom of the eighth. This is Jake Mcgee pitching, and 1-out single by Cespedes. And then as Drupal Cabrera, the ex-Indian, with an RBI triple. Jay Bruce, however, they ran themselves out of the inning. They hit a deep fly ball to left, and Cuevas with his zero arm managed to throw out as Drupal Cabrera. They must have thought they could get that 65% chance. So the score going into the top of the ninth is 9-8, and it will remain there because Yuris Familia would pitch to 4 batters and retire the Rockies, and the Rockies lose 9-8. The loser is Jake Mcgee. The winner is Jerry Blevins, and Familia gets the save. All right, the third game was played on the channel. If you would like to go watch that again, please do. It was a good game for the Rockies. All right, now we'll start with game 1 for the Angels and Rockies. This was Andrew Heaney against John Gray. Well, Colorado did get out early. I'll say that much. Noah Cuevas with a 2-run homer after a leadoff double by Trevor Story. 2-out home run by Cuevas made it 2-0, and that was about your highlight, because in the top half of the third, I don't think I really want to go over all the scoring. Not really any home runs, but it was death by I won't say death. I say removal by 1,000 hits. Let's just say this is Gray gave up 8 runs in the top half, and then it wasn't until Heaney grounded into a double play with Mike Dunn pitching that they got the first outs. So they scored 8 runs without recording an out, and then they got 2 more afterwards. So 10 runs, and they left the bases loaded too. I was so bad that Mike Pounders had to come in and finish the inning. The rest of the game ended up looking more like the Rams and the Broncos wanted to play instead of the Angels and Rockies. 14-3, the gory details. Heaney went 6 innings to get the win, and Gray, your loser. All right, game 2 was played on the channel, and that was a good game as well. All right, so then we go to game 1 of the series against the Rockies, and this might be one of my favorite games that I've ever played for Stratomatic. This was Julius Chassin against German Marquez. Bottom of the 4th inning, Rockies get on the board. 2-run homer by David Dahl with 1 out after Arenado walked. Puts the Rockies up 2-0. In the 5th inning, the Rockies add on to the lead. Fielder's choice by LeMahieu. And then Charlie Blackmon once again getting in the act with a 2-run homer. Made it 4-0, and the lead would stand until the top half of the 7th. They left Marquez in, and this must be his little weakness thing. Leadoff walk to Lorenzo Cain, Christian Yelich with a single, and then Ryan Braun with a single loads the bases. Travis Shaw hit a sacrifice fly to score Cain, and then Jesus, and this is off of Harrison Musgrave, and then Jesus Aguilar with a 3-run homer ties the game. And then we go to and then let's just say this. The Brewers had a chance for a score in the 9th inning, actually. However, a great relay throw from Perez, or from Charlie Blackmon, gets Lorenzo Cain at home, and that would be it for the top of the 9th. We go to extra innings. The Rockies had chance after chance after chance. In fact, they had a chance in the bottom of the 9th with the bases loaded and 2 outs, but Arenado grounded out the first. The 12th inning, they left the bases loaded after Daniel Castro flew out. Chris Rusin pitched in the 2nd inning, and they had gotten to the pitcher spot, and they called on Josh Hader, the last man in the bullpen, and he pinch hit for Williams, and he hit a triple. Not lying. And then Lorenzo Cain followed with a triple, and the Brewers went ahead 5-4 going into the bottom of the 14th, and Hader stayed in. He walked Arenado and then struck out Dahl and Story, so he figured 2 outs. And then the Rockies used their last position player, Chris Iannetta. He walked, and then Ian Desmond with the ballpark home run, 3-run homer. The Rockies win 7-5 in 14 innings. Wow, that was a large game. Chris Rusin pitched the final 2 innings. He gets the win, and Josh Hader gets the loss. And then the Rockies would follow this up with another win. Brandon Woodruff against Chad Bettis. Both teams would get scoring early. Lorenzo Cain with a leadoff walk, and then Christian Yelich with a 2-run homer puts the Brewers up 2-0, but the Rockies come storming back. This is all with 2 outs. Nolan Arenado walked. Carlos Gonzalez singled, puts runners on first and second. A walk to Trevor Story loaded the bases, and then Gerardo Parra singles home Arenado, makes it 2-1 Brewers. Ian Desmond, following his heroics from the night before, doubles home Gonzalez and Story. and puts runners on second and third. And the Rockies go ahead 3-2. Ionetta would get hit with a pitch, but Bettis could only pop out to the catcher, and that prevented further damage. The Brewers actually used the long ball a lot this game. Top of the third, Travis Shaw used the long ball to tie the game at 3, and then went ahead when Ryan Braun in the top half of the fifth inning led off the inning with a home run, 5-3 or 5-4 or 5-3, yeah, or 4-3. Sorry, 4-3. And then the bottom of the seventh with Barnes pitching. You got the first 2 outs, and then DJ LeMahieu singled, and then Charlie Blackmon with a 2-run homer. Boy, he had a heck of a week. That's probably 4 home runs for him at least. Rockies go ahead 5-4. They went ahead. Ottavino pitched a scoreless 8th, and then Wade Davis pitched a scoreless 9th. 1-2-3 ninth, actually. And the Rockies have won the first 2 games of this series. We'll see. That will give the win goes to that's Brian Shaw. He was in the top half of the 7th. And then the loss goes to Barnes, who pitched the 7th inning in defeat. All right, and then another drubbing happened in the third game of the series. Suter against Kyle Freeland. All right, I'll just give you kind of some minor details. Hernan Perez with a grand slam capped a 6-run first. Christian Yelich had a 2-run homer and a 5-run second. The defense did not help out the Rockies as they gave up an unearned run in a 3-run third. They added 3 more in the 4th and 1 more in the 5th on a wild pitch. It was a comedy of errors. And by the time the end of the bottom of the 5th came around, the the Milwaukee Brewers were leading 18-0. They'd add another run to make it 19-0. Suter gets the win. He went 6 innings. They got so bad that Daniel Castro and Tony Wolters pitched the final 3 innings. And to be honest with you, they didn't do too bad. I mean, he gave up the home run to Travis Shaw, the pinch hit home run in the 7th, but he pitched a score. But Castro pitched a scoreless 8th, and Wolters pitched a scoreless 9th, even striking out 2. So there may be some kangaroo court going on here after the game, but the Brewers will not care. They win 19-0. Actually, the next, and then will come up the next 2 games, which will be on the channel. Peralta and Gray for the final game against the Brewers. And then the first game is Tyler Anderson against Joey Lucchesi for a 2-game set against the Padres, followed by a 4-game set against the Dodgers. I'll probably do a Rockies Weekend Baseball after that 6-game stretch. All right, everybody, that's all for Rockies Week in Baseball. I'm your host, Tim, and if you are watching for the first time, thank you for watching. Please hit that, if you like what you saw, please hit subscribe and hit that bell icon. You'll be notified of any new videos, and whatever games you are playing, tabletop, PC, video games, may your games be lively and your games be good. Have a good night, everybody.